Hi, this is Group 6 and we will be talking about conflict resolution. Before we get into our scenario, we will briefly talk about what conflict is. Marquis and Huston defines conflict as, quote, the internal or external discord that results from differences in ideas, values, or feelings between two or more people, quote. As Cardillo stated, there will always be conflict because everybody has different opinions and ways of doing things. Our scenario is situation 6 on our textbook page 574. In this situation, the staff gets increasingly frustrated by the charge nurse due to staffing issue. The staff believes the way charge nurse assigns staffing is not fair. The staff has expressed a concern, but the charge nurse has not been responsive.
The category of conflict for situation 6 is interpersonal conflict. Interpersonal conflict happens between two or more people who their values, goals, and beliefs are differentiated, so those conflicts will arise. There will be usually something, an event, or a person that these conflicts are based on, and in this situation, this is a people-focused conflict, which emotions and feelings feel more of a personal attack. The nurse on the floor feels as if the charge nurse is personally taking less patients in the easiest patient, so that way she's not having to do as much work and putting more workload on the nurses on the floor. A little quote from the book that I found: in addition, role incompatibility may be a cause of interpersonal conflict because of differences between the goals and responsibilities assigned to an individual and what that individual would rather be doing. So in this case, with interpersonal conflict, again, the nurse on the floor is upset and wrestling with the fact that she thinks that the charge nurse is not doing the job that she should be doing and placing more burden on the staff nurses.
Alright, what stage of conflict? What stage of conflict are the individuals in the scenario? In this set scenario, situation 6, a nurse has grown increasingly frustrated with the actions of the charge nurse, only assigning herself one patient, if any, on a small telemetry unit, placing a disproportionate burden on other nurses and herself. In the development of conflict in this situation, there are 5 conflict stages to choose from to identify what stage the conflict is at. 5 stages are latent conflict, perceived conflict, felt conflict, manifest conflict, and conflict aftermath. The chosen conflict for this situation is felt conflict, described as a conflict that is emotionalized. Emotions including hostility, fear, mistrust, and anger. Why this situation is a felt conflict instead of a perceived conflict is the nurse has shown in this scenario signs of growing frustration, being an example of the emotion of anger. And as well, the nurse has shown signs of developing a feeling of an unsafe work environment with the assignments provided, showing and displaying an example of the emotion of fear. Intervention. What stage should a manager intervene? The needed stage for a manager to intervene is at stage 3, felt conflict, or before in the system of the conflict process, being perceived conflict or latent conflict. At any of those stages, a manager should be feel more than free to intervene. But stage 3 is when a manager must intervene. Why? Is because this is the last stage. Felt conflict is the last stage before the development to stage 4, the manifest conflict, the stage of when feeling becomes action, where the damage of the conflict is created and where irrational action is performed. The optimal goal of any manager is, in any conflict, is to use a conflict strategy that creates a win-win solution for everyone involved, resulting in a cease to development of stage 4, the manifest conflict. What a manager must do before interview is understand the origins of the conflict, assess the urgencies of the conflict, analyze the appropriateness of intervening, and consider what will happen if no one intervenes into a said conflict. As well, a manager may want to develop a strategy to the build-up of intervening to facilitate a conflict resolution between members in the workplace, being strategies as confrontation, behavior change, third-party consultation, or a structure change. Overall, being components of what a manager must do before the intervention may take place.
Goal for conflict resolution 6. There are short-term goals and long-term goals that can be utilized. A short-term goal would be talking one-on-one, for the floor nurse to talk one-on-one with the charge nurse. That way, she's going up the chain of command where she goes to the person with the issue at hand first, and then she can go up to the intermediate supervisor and then the nurse manager if needed. The staff nurse needs to tell her and the other nurses on the floor their feelings and concerns, with that the charge nurse may not be taking the appropriate amount of patients and trying to take the easiest patients, and causing more burden on the other nurses on the floor. Long-term goals can be to collaborate and make a plan together, either with the charge nurse, or if she needs to go up to the supervisor, then she can. They need to collaborate to create a minimum ratio that the charge nurse has to take, and a way to adequately disperse the patients on the floor. That way, the charge nurse isn't not taking enough patients and causing, again, more burden for the other nurses. And they can, the last long-term goal would be to implement this plan. That way, everyone together is working as a team, and then the conflict can be resolved.
Appropriate resolution. Collaborating. According to Marquise and Houston, all parties would set aside original goals and work together to accomplish that priority common goal. Collaboration enhances a person's participation in decision-making to accomplish mutual goals and resolve conflict. In application, we have seen that the charge nurse is assigning herself to low acuity patients, maybe only one patient at a time, while the other staff nurses feel like their assignments are unsafe. The common goal here is patient safety. Appropriate staffing of floor and shared responsibility of employees is very important. So open and honest communication is needed here to accomplish the patient safety goal. What if the situation escalates? Conflict resolution can be facilitated by management if escalation occurs. The book lists several strategies for management of conflict by a leader or manager. Confrontation is encouraged. In-person communication can help resolve conflicts. As listed before in this presentation, a chain of command is in place. You should confront the person that you have the problem with first, and then the chain of command is there in case further help is needed to resolve these conflicts. Third party is a neutral third-party person that may be present during resolution of conflict. This person may not be biased to either side and can help solve the conflict. Behavior change. Development of awareness and change through training and sensitivity courses. Courses may be taught to the floor as a whole if behavior change is needed. A structure change. The floor may need a change in the structure or environment. Changing the boundaries for employees or changing or creating new policies may help de-escalate current conflicts or prevent future conflicts. And soothing one party. You may de-escalate the feelings of each conflicted party before trying to communicate and solve problems. This resolves some of the emotion and may help problems be solved more calmly. These terms were found in the text Marquise and Houston.
As the ultimate goal of conflict resolution is to create a win-win solution, I would always aim to use collaborating strategy. However, the key point of conflict resolution is to be adaptable and flexible to use different strategies for different situations or conflicts.
This exercise has good takeaway points. One takeaway point is to use collaboration to work together as both parties are coming in a win-win solution rather than one party compromising or another party just pacifying the other. Another takeaway is that conflict can be healthy and good as long as you go up your chain of command, you go by the proper protocols, and everyone works together, again with collaboration, to make a solution. If the nurse on the floor were to keep her feelings and emotions to herself and not gone through the proper steps, nothing on the floor may have changed, and the charge nurse would have been taking the inappropriate amount of patients, and that would just cause strife and more conflict on the floor. So healthy conflict can be good as long as you're working towards the right steps.
In conclusion, patient safety is the common goal for all of the employees. Staff nurses and charge nurses, as well as management, should work together and collaborate to make this goal a priority. Patient safety above all else is the common goal that the two parties should share.
For my personal insight, how I would handle conflict in practice with patients, coworkers, and leadership, a common conflict resolution strategy I would be in favor of using, first, is the strategy of collaborating to create win-win situations whenever I can to solve conflicts, followed by methods of collaborating and accommodating with the support of third-party consultation when I can. Though, if conflicts get out of control, then the tactic of confrontation will be a tool of selection and last resort, as well as structure change. With all this in mind, with my main goal of being flexible and willing to adapt to stressful situations that may not always have an immediate strategy to the situation.